2 million bucks, a lot of money. In most places in the United States, it could buy you a mansion. In LA, it could get you like a starter home that needs to be fully torn down. In other cases, it could buy you what looks like a pretty common Japanese car. We're gonna have to take a step back here real quick because GTR people are the nerdiest of the nerds when it comes to spec. The Skyline GTR comes in a lot of trims and levels. So I'm gonna do my best to try to explain it to you, but it's a lot. But one thing's for certain, and that's that Nissan and seven-figure cars do not go hand in hand. After all, this is a brand for the people, not a limited production hypercar brand. At its core, the Skyline was built to haul groceries, and its base model could still be had today in the United States for under $10,000. And I do want to do a Worth It series with the Skylines, but I think this car is so far outside of the realm that it wouldn't make sense. So I'm going to save that for later. Make sure to go watch some of the other ones I've done. And let me know in the comments down below which one you want to see next. Since it's graced this earth in 1969, the Nissan Skyline GTR developed a cult-like following. But 20 years later, when the R32 debuted in 1989, sporting a 2.6-liter twin-turbo inline-six with all-wheel drive, it really planted its roots in the tuner culture. I sort of hate that word, but I don't know what else to say. It was a platform that was usable in nearly all situations in life, including just living a normal life with a car. But its super strong engine paired with all-wheel drive made it an absolute force to be reckoned with when it comes to putting big power to the ground, which made it an absolute beast in things like high-powered street cars and drag racing. But its chassis was also developed to handle, and it was used in plenty of race series like JGTC, DTM, Le Mans, and plenty more. And if all of that doesn't matter to you, you were able to flip a switch and turn it to rear-wheel drive only, because if you wanted to slide it around, you could have your cake and eat it too, which is another saying I don't really understand, because why would you want cake if you can't eat it? The Nissan Skyline GTR was by no means a rare car. The R33 generation, Nissan produced 16,668 cars between January of 1995 and November of 1998. But there are plenty of models to make them more rare and more desirable. Honestly, enough to make my head spin. I spent about 20 minutes on the phone with Tommy trying to understand all of them, and I'm gonna list them out for you from the most common to the most rare. So at the core of it, you have the base Nissan Skyline GTR, which isn't really a base model, but that's the floor for the GTR. From there, you have the V-Spec, which is really just an active diff option for the car. Then you have the LM Limited, which also has a V-Spec model. But they only made 188 of these, and they came in championship blue, along with a bunch of little featured aero bits throughout the car, but no other performance upgrades. Then you have the N1. This is like the stripper pack car. It's got no radio, no AC, no power steering, no rear wiper. It's the most stripped down, focused version of the car that you can get. It also has a bespoke engine block for the N1, which is the 24U. And it's some sort of different amount of nickel in the engine block or something. It gets really deep. And then they even sort of made a sedan with Autech, which was a subsidiary of Nissan, and it was a four-door GTR, which they produced about 400 of in 1998. Then at the top of the food chain is the 400R, the most bespoke Nissan Skyline GTR that Nissan has ever produced. And it is super rare. Nissan only produced 44 of these, but my friend Brian Janish from Top Rank Importers gave me a really interesting fact. Of the 44 cars produced by Nissan, only 41 of them are known. Car number 1 is actually number 0, and Nissan owns that. And then cars number 1 through 40 are known to exist and are owned by private parties, but 41 through 44 are completely missing. No one knows what happened to them. And back when they were new, the 400R was selling for 12 million yen, which is about 85,000 USD, whereas a base model R33 GTR was selling for right around 5 million yen, or $38,000. So what makes this rare Godzilla worth $2 million USD? Well, I don't know, so let's go find out. For the top tier GTR, I have two of the biggest GTR guys that I know. We got a dingus from Connecticut and one all the way from down under.
He's a dingo.
Dingus.
Tommy, F yeah, he runs a GTR restoration shop out in Connecticut called Garage Zero. And this isn't his car, but he built this car, so he's gonna do the talk about it. And Andrew, demoted to cameraman.
Promoting video means I know how to use a camera. Give me that camera.
Video guy.
All right, Tommy, what'd you bring here today?
Nothing. This is Andrew's car. This is a 1996 R33 GTR 400R number 29.
And they only made 40 of these. The interesting fact is you said that some of them have gone missing.
They can't account for a certain number. I don't know what the number is. No one knows what they are.
So what's so special about this car?
This is like a Nismo catalog car. Nismo wanted to show off all their little bits, but they made this really special because they put a proprietary 2.8 in.
What's different about this car on the outside?
So you got
talk about the motor.
The bumper, the lip, the hood, the badges everywhere, fender flares, the side skirts, the wing blade, rear bumper, seats, cluster, key.
Wow, that's
about it.
$2 million car. Last one we think sold for $1.2 million. This car is not stock on the outside either.
No, not stock anywhere. So you have modified wheels, original to this car, but these have been widened. Brakes, endless.
Yeah, these are insane.
So this is a $35,000 big brake kit. This car is on air. That's the best part. Andrew likes to drive in terrible places, so he needs air.
The owner, Andrew, has put a ton of miles on this car. And in the 2 days I've met him, he's probably put 250 miles
Yeah, we've
on
been
this
beating
thing.
him.
So it's pretty rad. The air suspension gets a lot of hate on this car, but it is functional. And because the parts are so rare and so expensive, he chose to do it so he could get in and out of driveways and stuff.
Right, especially his driveway.
Yeah.
The cameraman drove it. What do you think of the air?
I forgot that the air was air. There. I mean, air. I forgot it was there. Air. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going with this. The Honda S2000 was too noisy.
Just side railed you.
Let's look under the hood. It's pretty insane that they have modified an incredibly rare car, but it's not just aesthetic bits. They didn't just do brakes and widen the wheels. Under the hood is completely different.
So I want to preface this. We did this for preservation reasons. If this car ever had a failure of its engine, the value would be nothing. You know, not really nothing, but the value would be
takes a hit.
Very questionable. So we decided to swap it. We put an LS in it.
Oh my God. All the cars that you build have like very period correct bits, modified very, very well, but you like keeping it how it should be done.
Any car could be any car with enough money. I feel like you want to keep the like soul of the car, so that's why I like twins. And so with this car, the only thing natural would be to put another 2.8 in it. We couldn't put a 2.6. So we put an HKS high response crate motor, comes as a long block in a box, and then replaced everything. Power steering pump, alternator, AC compressor, AC condenser, Nismo radiator. It comes with a Nismo radiator, but we modify them to drain the turbos, so we didn't want to do it with the original radiator. So we bought another Nismo one. So that is the turbo drain. You delete a bunch of hoses and lines and stuff like that by draining them to the radiator. Nismo Plenum, HKS GT-RS turbos.
I like hammering from him. It's fun.
Hammering.
Hammering the crap out of him. And when he says, I like to build cars with twins, I just say to him, just because you don't know how to build a fast car, don't take it out on me, bro.
Just because you want your Skyline to feel like a Supra, you don't need to take it out on me.
See, you're confusing my builds with bad ones. See? All right.
We'll see.
So is this factory unpainted carbon or is this an aftermarket hood?
There's a factory Nismo 400R hood, same hood that's on my car.
So this is how it comes out of
This is how it comes, and I'll tell you, I paid $30,000 for my hood. So that's just one part of the 400R. What do you think the strut tower bar costs?
15 grand.
Yeah, it's about,
I was just joking.
15 grand.
Insane. What else is modified under the hood?
So the engine's an HKS crate motor, Nismo Plenum, turbos, Nismo carbon pipe. Those are kind of the factory intakes. We've modified them a little bit, but those are factory intakes. Nismo intercooler, a Nismo intercooler piping. It's got a Nismo clutch. It's got a R34 GetDrag 6-speed in it, brand new. That was another $30,000 item. It's got a carbon drive shaft from SuperTech. A lot of stuff is plated. A lot of stuff is vapor honed, which is like, you know, process of cleaning with glass bead and water, restoration stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
so all these like clamps and stuff are all like redone, right?
Correct.
All right, let's look at the inside. And inside the car is absolutely pristine too, but from what I've heard, not super original as well.
Seats are original, steering wheel's original.
It came with a non-airbag steering wheel.
Correct.
Sick.
Cluster, see how it says 400R, proprietary to that. He's got R34 Nismo pedals, all mines, armrest, shift boot, e-brake boot, all that stuff. 6-speed shifter.
So even though it is modified, it has very authentic.
High end. I mean, if this was some like chot shit, like no one would care, you know. Nismo rear view.
Wow, okay, that's the most ridiculous mod.
Interior's kind of basic. This is really cool though. There's a Wend Lab gauge that replaces the clock. It's a CAN gauge that tells you everything that the ECU can see. So this is a Haltech 2500. You can see everything, ethanol content, boost, pressure, oils, temperature, coolant temperature, everything.
That's really cool because you don't have to have a really big IC7 or big display cluster. You get to run the original stuff and then have something hidden, snuck in there.
Because you push a button and it's a clock again. That's where the original clock went. So, and then you can pass through it by pushing the buttons, and there's his airlift controller.
Oh yeah, which means we got to check out the trunk.
You got it, yeah, pop it right there.
Arguably the most
Controversial.
part of this car is putting air suspension on a 7-figure Nissan Skyline.
We were f***ing Andrew the entire time we were building this car, because to get to the fuel system, this is the way in.
Oh, really?
And to take this apart, like you'll notice there's no fasteners. Like what do you see? You see any hardware or anything?
No.
It's all hidden. It was a nightmare. We obviously did it. But this is like hot import nights.
No one does ice. And
No.
I can say ice because I know most of the people watching are around my age. In-car entertainment, it was a category listed when you had like car features in magazines. And this is early 2000s ice spec. Well, the other thing that I noticed about this car and your absolutely beautiful R33 that you brought here is really quiet, like built to be drivers.
Just under 700 horsepower. It's comfortably over rev to 9,000. Factory 400R titanium Fujitsu exhaust. It came like that from the factory.
The last thing, gotta take it out, see what it's like to drive it.
Tight.
So this is Andrew, the owner of the 400R. The guy crazy enough to modify a car that they only made 40 of, and we don't even know where half of them are. Thank you so much for letting me drive your car.
You got it.
And thank you so much for using such a special car.
Yes. I want to pay homage to the brand Nismo and the motorsports division and show this car and show it to many people there are.
Yeah.
And be able to drive it and enjoy it.
Hell yeah, I love it. I'm 6'2", 215 pounds, long torso, but you feel right at home in the R33. The 32 is like a tight, intimate cabin, and then the 33 started to really feel more like a GT highway touring car.
That's right, and it's got the big back seats.
Yeah.
That's key for me.
And we are here at Angeles Crest, one of my favorite places to drive. I've never driven this road in a right-hand drive car before. Oh my gosh, the sound of this car is incredible.
Yeah, that RB has got that infamous tone to it.
Oh man, so the HKS turbos have a really unique sound to them as well. Oh my God. Wow, the sound is insane.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
The dampers are really nice.
Exactly.
There's no body roll.
Yes.
They're very compliant.
And it's on air, right?
I wouldn't think it. It feels like it's on a really nice set of coilovers that are a bit softer than like a race damper.
Exactly. And that's what I was going for. I didn't want to go for something that was, too stiff. Wanted to be able to enjoy it.
The other thing you notice about this car is the gearing is really nice. The stock GTRs generally have a pretty long gear ratio in them, which kind of makes it feel a bit sluggish in some areas. This gear ratio makes the car feel really peppy.
Yes.
What made you modify a car that's so rare and so expensive?
These cars need to get driven, right? So the original motor that was in this car is irreplaceable. And the last thing I want to do is have something happen to that engine. What we did with Garage S0 is we went ahead and we put in a brand new HKS crate motor. It's got a step 3 high response crate motor, which is perfect for the type of driving that I like to do. Fast in the back roads, and you can still drive it in the city if you want to. I can bring it to shows and have a little fun with it. I take it to Ours Day, beginning of the year, and we were at Laguna Seca, and I feel comfortable taking it on the track, not worried about destroying something that, that you can't replace.
And you put a lot of miles on this car. So this car has 36,000 kilometers.
Correct.
How many have you put on?
I've put on about 5,000.
That's amazing.
Yes. And I've had it for about a year and a half.
So what I really love about this car is it's produced in the KR4, the Sonic Silver, and it's a really subtle color. So most people driving around, they're not even going to look twice at this thing. For the people who know, this is a mind-blowing thing to see on the road.
Yes, this is the unicorn. That's correct, of the Skylines.
What I really love that you've done with this car is you and Tommy have built something. It's a package that's like really great for the street. We're cruising right now, 4,000 RPM. It's quiet. We're having a conversation. No wind noise. There's no exhaust drone. You could drive this thing cross country, no problem. And not even think twice about it. The clutch is really easy. The brakes are really easy. Like this thing drives like a fairly modern car. That's not super modified.
I call it museum spec.
Yeah.
And we could turn it back to museum spec within a short time.
I haven't even gotten into it yet. And just that quick spool up, this thing feels like it is ready to rip.
Because those turbos, they just want to spool and give you all the boost of power you want.
Right. It's like,
yeah.
It's not laggy.
You have to
but-
fully commit.
Right.
Fully commit to that pedal and you'll, yeah. And you'll feel it.
That was only to like 7,000 RPM, revs to 9,000. So there's so much power band under that curve. That's just a quick little third gear hit. Man, it comes on like a freight train.
Yeah.
Yeah, those turbos sound so cool.
Oh yeah.
My God. This gearbox.
Yes.
This gearbox feels incredible.
Yes.
So I don't even know what makes a blow-off valve or compressor surge sound like that. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and it's the RB. The RB has that special sound with the twins.
Oh my God, it's so cool. I also really just enjoy how like docile it could be.
Me too, yes.
With turbo cars, you are able to build that situation where you have a car, it's a real monster under load, but really chill around town.
Correct.
Oh, it's so good.
It is.
Well, Andrew, I gotta say, thank you so much for letting me drive your car, and also thank you for just driving cars
Yeah.
like this. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks, Ben. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
You good?
Yeah,
No airbags?
no airbags.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's definitely totaled, but no airbags is nice.
Oh my God. Yeah.